let's crack straight into this then, guys. Hope you're all good. Well done on getting to your first week. Obviously, it's a huge shift in lifestyle, in mindset, in the way that you're doing things, in terms of living your life, really, in the way that you think about things, right? So I understand it's like it's definitely hard in that first week, like to get those breakthroughs, to change the attitudes and force yourself to do things that maybe you're not used to doing. And I think that's all part of that personal development, self-development, right? And battling the ego, battling the chimp, battling all of the former self, so to speak. So if you're here, man, you're doing well. So well done. This, and the one thing I want to emphasize more than anything is that this is not just 1 week of a 28-day. What we're trying to do here, and one thing we're trying to move away from, is these short wins, quick, like this short-sighted vision of what we're trying to achieve here. This is what we're trying to achieve for permanent change. We're trying to rewire the way that you work in here. So if you feel, and you're being hard on yourself, and you feel like, oh, I'm not achieving what I wanted to, I'm not where I should be, guys, you know, it takes, having done this for a long time and working with all the lads that are in the mastermind that have come through this process, it takes a full year to fully rewire the way you're thinking, the way you're changing your habits, your routines, making them consistent. So if I suspect that 90% of you are really piling the pressure on yourself, saying you're not good enough, or you're not keeping up, or not doing as well as I think I could. Like, you're here, you're doing great. All right, that's and have that mentality that, you know, this is just the start of a bigger picture. All right, so the idea of this is for me to be actually able to talk to some of you, and like, don't feel pressured that you have to come on, but if you'd like to, there is like a raised hand sign on your computer or your thing somewhere. What we're going to talk about here is just simply your biggest breakthrough and your biggest focus for next week. Okay, nice and simple. I know some of you have been on before, some of you have been in the mastermind and coming back, some of you are brand new. Please don't feel anxious, please don't feel nervous about coming on, like, because if you don't put your hand up, I'm going to ping you anyway. So I'm just going to give everybody an opportunity to first come on. Who's going to be first? Who's going to be brave enough to come on? Mark Rawlins, boom, that's what I'm talking about.
Great.
Can you hear me, Mark?
Hiya, JB, you okay?
Yeah, you, pal?
Yeah, not bad, thank you.
Take the plunge. Fuck it, let's go.
Yeah, gotta go for
it. How are you?
Okay, good, yeah.
How you getting on?
Tough, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's been quite, how can I put it? It's difficult to think about yourself and what you're doing and where you're going. It's been quite hard, to be fair.
Why is it quite hard?
To never do it. I never put myself first, sort of thing, and think about planning ahead. It's something that's just go day by day and off we go, you know. So.
And how are you finding it?
It's been really. The module work's been really, really good.
Great.
That's what I've really enjoyed. I've got something a lot out of that. Just thinking about myself and talking about it with my wife as well, and going through things has been really enlightening. And one of my problems previously was not being able to talk and open up. So this is what we've done this week. I've been talking about the course, and she's been asking me questions about it, and it's been really, really good. Yeah.
She noticed changes in you?
Yeah, I'd say definitely. I mean, I've been trying to work on it previously anyway, but when you have something like a goal to talk about and something to discuss, I think it makes a massive difference then. So you just focuses what you're thinking about.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I like that. So when you were like thinking about yourself before, sorry, not thinking about yourself before, if you could give an example, what would you say was a classic example that slightly changed this week?
Oh, it's just going from day to day. That's what I'm not used to. Go to work, come home, shattered. And the example would be is I come home from work, my wife would say to me, you just come home from work, sit down in a shell, have your tea, watch a bit of TV, go to bed, and that's it. But now, this week, we've just sat in the garden, had a chat, and just discussed things, really, and that's a massive bonus for me.
To be more proactive, more communication. Yeah. There's more communication and understanding going on between you two and stuff like that.
Definitely. Was that free? Well, they're nearly adults now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So
Yeah.
they're moving on. Great. Okay. So being the biggest breakthrough, would you say that is your biggest breakthrough, like of the week so far, is like that attention to yourself, like that paying that attention to yourself?
I think so, personally, yeah. And just thinking about myself. And I
Okay.
mean, I've struggled with the 10-year plan, I must be honest. That's something I'm still working on at the moment. That's
Fine.
really, I find that really hard, because I've never done anything like that before. I've thought about it when I watched your shows before, and I thought about it, but to actually put it on paper and give it a bit of thought, it's been quite hard, to be honest.
Yeah, man.
I'm still going through that at the moment.
Okay. So with the 10-year plan, and this is for everybody, it's not easy. Okay. The biggest thing that we get with many people is they overthink it. Okay. So imagine, right, in 10 years, and this is the best way to simplify this. In 10 years, without any self-limiting beliefs, where would you love to be? Like, what's the job that you'd love to be doing? Like, how would you love your relationships to be? What are you doing within those relationships? Are you traveling once a month? Are you traveling once every quarter? Are you going out for dinner once a week, twice a week? How good are those relationships? What's the relationship like with yourself? So you're already working on the relationship with yourself, right? In terms of you're starting to put yourself first a little bit. When it comes to your health, picture what you'd like, how fit you'd like to be, what your body would look like, what type of events you are doing. Okay, are you doing a triathlon? Have you ever done a triathlon? Do you think you could ever do a triathlon? Like, you know, and a lot of people overthink the 10-year plan. All it is creating some form of direction, right, from point A to point B, and being able to reverse engineer it. Now, there are two different parts of this 10-year mission. There is the year 1 to 10, and that is your vision. That's purely vision. That's like aspirations. Okay, so when you reverse engineer that process and you get to the year point, that then becomes the mission, that 1 year, right? Because that's where we can actually plan. You can plan for a year. You could say, right, this time next year, I want to achieve A, B, C, and D. Okay. And then you've got to figure out in that first 12 weeks, all right, what do I need to achieve to make so-and-so happen? So for argument's sake, let's say I want to run 50 miles. Like I want to do a 50-mile race. I want to turn around and say I've run a 50-mile race by this time next year. So great. What do I need to achieve in that first 12 weeks? Well, what I need to achieve in that first 12 weeks, I need to at least have run half a marathon. So my focus on this next quarter is to get to half a marathon. Okay, so let's look at that 12 weeks and let's break that 12 weeks down into 3 28-day checkpoints, right? Because 12 weeks is a long time to plan. So we can break it into 3 sections. So the first 28-day checkpoint, in that first 28 days, I just want to run 5 miles a day, like for 3 days a week. Does that make sense? So we do 15 miles 1 week, 15 miles the other, 50 miles the other, 50 miles the other. Then on the second 28-day checkpoint, we go, right, I want to run 8 miles a day. Boom, let's do that 3 times a week. So slowly you build up. What I'm going to send you all via the app is a hour and a half webinar that I did on this. And it goes into a little bit more detail than what you guys have watched, okay, on that module. So I'm going to send that through to you. Have the watch of that, and that will teach you how to break that 10-year vision down into microchips in a lot more detail. And it's definitely worth watching, and that will help you with that.
Cool. Yeah.
Right. When you're not used to doing something, like I said at the start, it's really tough, right? You're like, I don't even plan the end of the week. But I think the idea of it is just to give you some direction. Don't let it bog you down. Don't let it overwhelm you. Just, you know, it's just a side project to work on over the 28 days.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, maybe looking at it a bit too deeply, trying to look at things like, you know what I mean? But
100%. Yeah. 100%. And I think it's just like really trying to emphasize, look, like maybe I need to emphasize that more in the video, but don't overthink this. This is like a side project as you're building yourself. How you feel now and how you feel in another 3 weeks will be completely different. You'll be a lot more self-assured, a lot more confident in 3 weeks. You'll be a lot more structured as well. So you might even change in just those 3 weeks in terms of the direction that you're going. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And if 10 years is too much, then just do 5. Do you know what I mean? If 5 years is too long, then just do a year. But the key thing is to have some direction, right?
Yeah.
Don't overthink it. It's not like to the book. It's just to give you a North Star.
Yeah, cool.
All right, man. Well done for coming on first.
Cheers.
Well done, dude. Right, let's have a look. Who's next? So we've got Mark. James Douglas is next. You there, dude?
Can you hear me? Yep.
Yeah, got you, man. How are you?
All right. Been eye-opening for sure.
Cool.
I've been struggling for the last 10 years, so I've made strides forward. The missus is very happy with what I'm doing and very impressed with what I've done. So it's making a massive difference so far.
In terms of struggling, how do you mean, like just with everyday life or anything in particular?
Literally everyday life. I had my duodenum corroded 10 years ago from ibuprofen,
Right.
and I lost everything. I suffer from chronic fatigue now, so I struggle just to get through every single day.
Okay. Yeah.
So I've literally, before I did the 5-day course, every day for me was waking up, trying to get myself into the shower, and that could take all day, and I could still not manage it. I live with 24/7 pain. I've been on everything. I've been on like 30 odd different medications over the last 10 years, and morphine doesn't even help. So I have to live with the pain, and it's been a nightmare. So I can't at work. I can't go for a jog and go for a long walk. I can't. I've lost everything.
Okay.
So trying to fight against it. I was a tournament fighter before. Done 7 different styles of martial arts, and I know how I used to be. So I have this resentment for myself. Of my body. I feel like my body's betrayed me, because my head's still like, I can still do this.
Yeah.
But so it's been very difficult to manage. I keep pushing myself too far, and then I'm back in hospital, or I'm wiped out for days. So I needed to get my head in the right place and actually just pace myself and bring it back. And the course has helped me do that.
Great. In what way do you think it's helped you do that?
Just getting the mindset right, in terms of the thing that resonated with me the most. In fact, the thing that actually got me to be aware of you was you came up as a advert between 2 YouTube videos, and you mentioned the 1%, and I was like, yeah, I'm always searching for 100%, 200%. I thought if I just try to bring myself back and learn to build myself up again, it's like being a child again, and having to relearn your limits.
Yeah.
And you're helping me do that.
Yeah.
And it started with that 1% message.
I think the thing that I noticed you saying there is that relationship that you have with your body, mind versus body. I'm feeling quite angry with your body and stuff like that. Do you think that you've challenged that? Do you think that's part of the problem? Like, so obviously one of the things that I would always recommend is acceptance. Acceptance is a huge thing, right? In terms of accepting where you are. These are the wrong glasses, they're killing me. So when you accept the situation that you're in, do you think that your mind has accepted what's happened? Or do you think you're still part of this, some of the stress here is you still resisting that it's actually happening?
I tell myself that I've accepted it, and I think I've accepted my conditions, but I don't think I've forgiven myself.
Do you think you've accepted your limitations?
I think I did, and I think I actually went too far with it. So the problem is that over 10 years of therapy and everything, and doctors and professors and everything, they're all saying, don't push yourself, limit your stress, don't do anything to increase your pain levels. But then you don't do anything, and it put the fire out. And that's another thing that you've managed to bring back, and it's given me that spark to wake up again. So I think I've accepted that I'm always going to be in pain. I've accepted that I'm always going to have fatigue issues. And what I wasn't able to do was to get that spark to say, okay, you screwed up, but it doesn't mean you have to sit there like a potato. You can get up and you can challenge yourself. And
100%. I think what you need to do here, Jimmy, is recalibrate you perceive to be a win or what you perceive to be success, right? So what you would have perceived to be success 10 years ago when you were doing martial arts and you were at that level, this is a classic case of like expectations. So like your expectations, having known that, is always been up here, right? So you've been this high performer and your level of conditioning has always matched that, most likely. And I think this is a case of where your mind and body become confused, because I think that your expectations are still here, but yet your level of conditioning is here. By no, like, nothing you can do about that. That's just the condition. So there is this huge deficit. So for 10 years, I kind of feel like that's maybe where the challenge has been, is like, oh, it's like really pushing hard, right? But you just can't push any harder. It's like, you know, those big strong men who pull the lorries on the strongman competition, and they reach that point where they can no longer pull the lorry because they've burnt out, and they're trying and they're forcing it, but it's like this force field stopping them. And that's almost where you are. And I think what we have to look at is look at this level of expectation to bring it down to where you are now and go, this is what I recognize as you've done this week. This is what I believe you've done this week. And you've opened up your eyes in terms of, these are my limitations. However, but what I've done this week, that's my new success. That's my, and that, yes, it's going to be hard to embrace that it's not that, but it is still, like you say, that 1% win over and over and over again. Like, our whole bodies and our whole actions and emotions are all controlled by our brain. Like, everything is controlled by our brain. Like, what we talk to our brain, it's like a lot of us follow that primitive type of thinking. Do you know what I mean? And you become lost in that firefight. But what you're starting to do now is almost drop that. It's not, I wouldn't say it was fully ego, but it was just that stubborn mindedness to that's stuck in that set way. And you're starting to appreciate and realize your new capabilities and your new wins, which brings benefits to your mental health, your emotional health. And that's the win. That's the focus. That's the way to move forwards. And I don't know if you have done that, but writing down things that you consider wins to recognize them is a really great thing to do. Like, you know, having quotes to remind you, using the journal to put your gratitude in as well. Super important. Really connecting emotionally with what your life is now. And you know, I only say this because I've worked with guys who have been in accidents and been wheelchair bound. So, you know, that in terms of, you know, you're not in a wheelchair, but your limitations, part of your life has been stripped away in that respect, that you can't do like what some of those guys that I've worked with do in terms of working in a wheelchair. Again, you suddenly realize the potential. One of those lads that I worked with went on to compete in the Paralympics a couple of years ago, in the last Olympics, and it suddenly it would become from disaster, oh my God, look at the way my life is, to wow, what are the opportunities here? What are the possibilities? I completely disagree with a lot of therapists state to say, do nothing, like, you know, become like, you know, well, you're not really giving me any reason to live. So there's no passion there's no drive. And I always believe you can reach your expectations, you can reach your limits. They're just limited.
Yeah. It's like another thing that you say. It's about your identity, and that's one of the things that I have to work out, is that I am not the old me. I need to work out the new me.
Yeah.
And this is the start of that. And one of my biggest wins from this so far has been the morning routine. And it's incredibly difficult, but having that fire again, I've managed to get up in the morning, it's helped. My wife's had to help me in terms of giving me a mocker to give me that boost to get me started, but managing to get myself up, do my physio exercises, go for a walk around the block, which they both hurt like hell, fatigue me a lot, but I'm pushing through it. And then get myself showered, and then I'm checking in before 9.
Amazing.
And previously, I might be able to do that twice, but it took me the whole day, and then I'd have 3 days in bed.
That's incredible.
Whereas the last 2 weeks since doing the 5-day course, I've managed to do it consistently Monday to Friday. I'm still wiping out during the day afterwards.
Yeah.
But because of that, I'm not planning things there at the moment. So I'm working on morning routine, night routine. If I can get things done during the day, great. If I can't, hey, I've still won.
Amazing. And the fact that you recognize your energy bursts and your energy saps is huge, right? Like planning that in, that shows like great awareness. And the other thing that I feel you have an abundance of, James, and you will have an abundance of, is character. Like, you know, through experiences, and when I say experiences, I'm talking about wins and losses and new ways of thinking that creates us and shapes us, right? Like it shows true character to bounce back. But I think after so long, now's the time, right? If not now, when, so to speak. So, and that doesn't just go to you, that goes for every man, whether they've got some conditioning holding them back, or they got their full health. You know, if not now, when are we going to change? And, you know, I see a lot of men come along, start off with all good intentions and then crash and burn. And then, you know, that's the way that life will go. And for you, James, this has to be the start of the brand new chapter. Like it's a brand new chapter. You've gone through a long transition, right? You got your condition when I left the military, like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And so that's a long old time. The next 10 years have to be about you, your achievements, and how you empower yourself in your own life. Excellent, James. Brilliant. Good, great chat. Good man. Cool. Nice. Inspiring. Dale. Are you there, bro? Dale?
Yeah, sorry. Hang on. I didn't have my glasses on. I couldn't see the thing properly on there.
Right, let me just put that down. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad.
That
been a bit
not
of
too bad tells me you're not doing great.
Yeah, well, it's been a bit of a 50-50. I sort of really hit the ground running at the beginning of the week, and then that third module come in, and my brain went. Nah. I had a bit of a.
You messaged me, didn't you, Dale? Was it you? Somebody messaged me.
No, it was Graham. Funnily enough, reached out to me, and
Good.
I ended up having a chat with Graham the other morning for about an hour and a half. Poor bloke. And he sort of helped me out with, you know, what's been going on with it a little bit. So,
why do you find it so? Why's it been stressing you out?
But basically, my partner, she's got a brain tumor, non-operable. We don't know, you know. I only find out on a day-to-day basis that she's still with us because we've spoken in the morning. If that makes any sense, it could be, you know, could get an hour, could get it 10 years, could not at all. And it's just putting things that I want for the future down on paper makes me feel incredibly selfish. Going, yeah, well, I want us to do this, and I want us to go there, and I just think, well, it's not for me to want. Okay. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I get it. Like it's well, that's really conflicting, dude. I'm really sorry to hear about your partner as well. That is like that's another level. So I think the thing here, dude, is I totally get it, right? You know, how can you create a 10-year plan when you don't when everything's so uncertain, right? I guess you know, on this one occasion, one of the things that I would maybe hold actually doing is probably your 10-year plan. Like, you know, I think it might actually do you more harm than good right now in that respect, in terms of emotions. Do you know what I mean? I would even struggle to want to do a 10-year plan, not knowing like what's happening with my partner. One of the things I would look at, Dale, is, and listen, you can never know what's going to happen, but I would almost look, what do I want to achieve in the next 6 months? Do you know what I mean? Like, where do I want to be? And keep your focus base very much short term rather than long term until you have more clarity or certainty, right, in your situation. One of the things that I think, you know, one of my clients in the mastermind, his wife has something very similar. I think she has like 8 months to live. So it's very difficult in that respect. And one of the things that we spoke about was keeping yourself the priority, the asset, so that you can handle the situation as best as you possibly can, right? So in terms of being there for her, do you have children?
No.
Okay.
Literally, we got together, and
Yeah.
within about 18 months, she started feeling a bit ill, and everything's just gone flat
Yeah.
on hold.
Okay. So it's very
So-
much about keeping your priority, like making sure that you mentally and emotionally are in a good place, as good a place as you can be, to be there for her, but also to look after yourself. Because one of the things that I spoke to my guy in the mastermind was that if you let yourself go completely, if you crumble here, you know, are you going to have the emotional strength and mental strength to be able to, number one, support, but also, you know, you have to make sure for the long term you're looking after yourself. So I think when you kind of look at it, you kind of go, okay, for the next 6 months, where, like Christmas, where do I want to be at Christmas? Okay, where can it be at Christmas? Keeping myself organized. I can't do any lavish plans yet. I can't plan to do major things yet. But what I can do is make sure that I handle myself as best that I can. Do you know what I mean? And keep myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And does that make you feel less stressed about it?
Yeah, I do that weird thing of I'm still looking at it going, oh, but I'm cutting out a bit of doing the course. So I really want to do as much as I can, but on the same side of it, to reduce the amount of stress, it makes sense to do it that way.
Yeah, but
I'm just
that 10-year
trying
plan
to
will always be
not
there.
feel like a cop out.
Yeah, you're not absolutely not a cop out, dude. Fucking hell, you are in a very sensitive situation. Like, do you know what I mean? There are certain things in life where reality have to like come into play. You know, that is real life. You know, how can you go ahead and torment yourself by, like, it's more damage than good planning a 10-year in the position that you're in. Do you know what I mean? I think that later down the line, when you're in that position, that's when you go ahead and go, right, I'm going to start thinking long term. But I don't think now is that time. How are you getting on with the course?
Yeah, generally, I'm finding everything else I've found quite, well, not easy, but you know, morning routine nailed down. I mean, end of the week when I started having my meltdown, I was missing my alarm and all of that, but because everything was laid out and in place,
Yeah.
as soon as I suddenly went, well, get up, yeah, you know, put your gear on, go and do whatever, and it started to sort of click into place. So I found I wasn't getting to work stressed out and angry because I'm up late and not done this and not done that, and it's given sort of some sort of consistency and clarity of mind, so that even if I'm not feeling it, I've still been able to do it.
Good lads. And so what's going to be your main focus next week, Dale?
I think my main focus is to try and not have the wobble I've had at the end of this week, because I feel it's sort of almost taken the shine off of what I've managed to do from the 5-day and from here. I've lost nearly 2 stone since the 5-day.
Wow,
so
you dude, that's really good. But this is what I spoke about at the start, right? Don't beat yourself up. Like, you're going to have days when you don't press snooze. You're in the early stages of this change, right? You're going through an emotional roller coaster personally, but also with this course as well. There's a lot going on, so don't beat yourself up. But you know, you get knocked down, you get back up. You get knocked down, you get back up. And that's mental resilience, right? That's mental resilience. It's finding the positives in amongst those hardships, right? And making sure that you're here. You're fucking here, man. Do you know what I mean? So you're ready to go. Week 2, let's fucking bring it on. And you keep going. That perseverance, that inner drive, that inner fire. Remember all of those things we spoke about in the 5-day? That's why you're here, right? So, like, don't beat yourself up ever. Beat yourself up if you decided to quit. If you quit, then you beat yourself up. Then you say, like, you need to have a fucking word with yourself. That when it gets to that point. But don't ever criticize the fact that you're here. You have exceptional circumstances, yet you're still showing up. And like what I said to James, 1% a day, 1% a day, 1% a day. If you press snooze, then you find a way to win the day back. Happy?
Yeah.
Good man. If you have a wobble, you can reach out to me at any point. Like any of you can reach out to me on the app at any point. I know you got your ambassadors, but like I'm here as well. Do you know what I mean? I probably haven't got an hour and a half, but I'd probably tell you in about 10 minutes, like straight exactly what you need to know. But you know, you've got tough times. Like a lot of the guys that come through here, like have had. There's been some horrendous circumstances like that. They've been doing it, but you know, it's about still making sure you are looking after you. You like essentially you got to be like, if you're going to be, do you remember the priority triangle on the 5 day?
Yeah.
You're going to be at the top of that so that everyone gets the best version of you. You know, when we press snooze, when we neglect ourselves, people who need us don't get the best version of ourselves. So just always have that in your mind. Be the top of that triangle. Yeah. Well done, Dale. Good lad. Good stuff. Really good.
Thank you.
Right. Who's next? Right. I've got Paul. Paul, guys, if some of you come on, I've only got one more person who wants to put their hand up, and then I'm going to start pinging people who look like they don't want to come on. Paul, are you there? Just unmute yourself, dude.
Yeah, I'm here. Morning, JB.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right, thanks. Yeah, I'm okay.
Good man. What's happening?
Well, you know, it's been. I mean, I feel almost like a bit of a fraud after listening to James and Dale there. The things they're going through makes my circumstances feel quite peachy, to be honest. But I mean, amazing what those guys are achieving. But I think I did the 28 day before about sort of a couple of years ago, I think, and my sort of family circumstances were quite different, and I sort of went into this week with very sort of clear idea of how I was going to do it. You know, I was going to do it exactly how I did it before, because that worked. You know, I had this, you know, morning schedule in mind. I was going to get up at 5 and do this, and this. And since then, you know, we've got I've got 3 kids. So I've got a 16-month-old at the moment, and that obviously impacts on things like sleep quite considerably. Yeah. And it was pretty obvious, like Monday morning, I'm like, I ain't getting up at 5 o'clock. There's no way that I'm, you know, if I'm getting up at 5 o'clock every day, I'm going to be, you know, I'd be destroyed by now. So I've had to kind of just rethink how I actually go through the program, I think, and accept that this sort of perfect view I have of, you know, how I'm going to do it is not going to work this time. And it's about adapting how I do it, I think. And that's kind of, so this week has been a bit up and down. It's been, some things have been okay. Some things haven't really worked for me. So I'm kind of going into week 2 thinking, right, I've just got to do things a bit differently, you know.
One good points as well, Paul. Like, you know, we've got a 5-week-old, so like I can completely get the sleep thing. Yeah. So one thing I would always say here, mate, is like, don't stress yourself out thinking that the routine has to be the same every single morning, or that you have to have this rigid routine. Being an operator, like, we always have this alter ego, right, of the elite operator. Like, you hear me talking about it a lot. So it's kind of like building up that character, that visualize of yourself. And it's what really is important to understand is that the ability to be able to adapt and overcome but still win is huge. And I think that as men, sometimes we get caught out because we feel like we have to do the same thing every single day, or it has to be perfect. It's like perfect mentality to our routine, the way that we live our life, the way that we're conducting ourselves. When actually, I feel it's quite the opposite. It's like being able to adapt to different situations and different circumstances on a daily basis. Like we could always have the ability to say, right, I'm getting up at 5 every single morning, Monday to Friday, and weekends I'm not doing anything. Weekends I catch up on sleep. Great to have that plan. But you know what? If this 16-month-old has been up 3 times throughout the night, and you've had to do 2 of the feeds, give your missus a break, and you're wrecked, then hey, then why don't I get up at 6:30, and why don't I just then spend like half an hour or 40 minutes on the morning routine? Right, maybe I don't get a chance to work out in the morning, but maybe I could do that at lunchtime. And it's just having that ability that you're still in control. And that's what I really want to emphasize there, Paul, is that you still have a routine. There's still structure in place. You're still moving forwards. What would not be moving forwards is just like not setting an alarm or getting up with 15 minutes to go before work, deciding not to do your workout, deciding to come home and sit on the sofa and just do nothing.
Mm.
So I think what you're doing is great. Testing different routines is also really important, like with the morning routine. So one of the lads who just come down on one of our recent mastermind meets, he was so rigid in his morning routine. He refused to budge right, left or right from it, and it was causing friction for himself. So we created 4 different morning routines, and what he's now doing is trialing one week, one the second week, one of the completely different ways of doing things. And what you start to realize is the things that you can achieve at different times and things that you never thought possible. So what you're doing is absolutely fine. So if you do feel like you're beating yourself up, don't. You know,
yeah, that's something I'm pretty good at. I have this kind of, like you say, the perfectionist kind of mentality, and it's like it's just so destructive because the second it doesn't go to plan, or my plan that I've created in my head, then that's it. And I was thinking like Monday or Tuesday, by sort of Tuesday, I was thinking, my God, am I actually going to be able to even stick with this for the week? But only because it wasn't going how I thought it should go. And then I was like, hang on a minute, don't be a prat about it. You just rethink it a bit.
Expectations, conditioning, deficit. The deficit is, well, like, you're not the only one, mate. Like I honestly beat myself up all the time, but my reaction time is a lot better now because I recognize it. I'm like, victim mentality, snap out of it, Boardman, bang, come back to reality, bring those expectations down. Like, expectations is what creates our perfect mentality. Like, our brains and egos are here, our reality is here. Okay, you guys are just white belts in personal development. You guys are white belts. If you look at Spence or your ambassadors, they're like purple belts. There are a couple of belts up. There are a couple of, you're at chapter 1, 2, or 3. Those lads are like chapter like 52, 56, 57. I'm like at chapter 120, 125. My mentor is like at chapter 900. Like, do you know what I mean? So like there's different life experience, and that's what we have to take ourselves through and understand, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think it's just having the accountability is just a massive thing for me as well. I think because I've known for months and months and months and months that I had to change things, because you're slipping into those bad habits again. And I'm thinking I'm putting weight but just being on this and just having that, I mean, the accountability is just huge for me. Making sure I'm showing up, like you say, and just getting involved and being here, and that's the real difference. So I
think we all need accountability, right? Even I do. Like, it doesn't matter who you are. Like, we go through a whole young life with accountability to our parents to a certain age, right? We're then suddenly left to the bigger world. And that's like, I really feel that from like early 20s to 30s is when we create the bad habits that really get exposed later in the late 30s, because suddenly we go from nobody telling us, like, I constantly bollocking my teenage kids. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, guys, you've got to be accountable to yourself. Like, that is what you have to be. And that internal dialogue, but it's easier said than done. If you look at the 100+ lads that are in the mastermind, every single one of them there for the same reason, what you've just said, to be a part of something, that community, but the accountability, because if your name's getting called out and you're getting called out and you're getting a phone call from Mike because your percentages are low on your showing up, you're like, fucking now I'm being chased up here. But that's what we need. You know what I mean? We need to drop the ego, and embrace that people are doing it because they want you to see you win, and that's why you're here. So good, dude. And don't ever feel like a fraud, mate. Don't ever feel like a fraud. Like everybody has something going on. Everyone, like some people have tougher situations than others. I'm certainly inspired by James and Dale. Do you know what I mean? But we all have something going on, and just because somebody's going on is maybe more severe than ours, it doesn't mean that we shouldn't recognize what's going on. Like, we shouldn't dismiss that. We should still recognize that thing that's going on, if that makes sense. So number one focus for next week.
Number one focus for next week, I think, is it's got to be exercise for me. I've kind of had this big plan. I do run, but I've kind of been a bit sort of flapping around a bit this week with the little and being ill and stuff, and I haven't really done what I set out to do. So for me, if I can get, I did 1 run this week. If I can do 2 runs next week,
okay,
then that's better. So I'm gonna.
That's cool. Distance wise, what we're going to do on each run?
I do usually do sort of 5K.
Okay.
Occasionally I can do 10 if I'm in the right frame of mind. So you know, I'm not too bad at running. But
How long does it take you to do?
5K is about sort of
30 minutes.
5 minutes or so.
How many? 30, 35?
35 minutes, yeah.
Cool. All right. So listen, I'm going to challenge you. Do 3 5Ks next week. That's roughly an hour and a half of your 168-hour week.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So
Yeah.
3 5Ks. Find the time, do them, and I guarantee if you hit them next weekend, you'll be buzzing.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Challenge.
Just remember that it's only 1.5 hours out of a 168-hour week.
Yeah.
That's nothing. Like, you can definitely do that. I know you can.
Yeah. I'm on it.
Okay.
I'm on
Good
it.
man, Paul. Well done, dude.
Cheers, JB. Thank you.
Cool. Simon. Oh, guys, the guys that I've spoken to, are you all happy for this to go on the podcast? Is anyone not? Yeah, great. Thumbs up, thumbs up. I think Mark might have gone. Oh, Mark Rawlings, are you happy? Yeah, great. When you come on, guys, just let me know if you're happy. If you don't want to be on there, it's no stress. I just need to edit you out if you don't want to be in there. Simon, you on mute for me?
Morning, mate. You all right?
Yeah, you, pal?
Yeah, happy to be podcasted or whatever else you just said, chap. No worries.
Good man, good man. How are you?
Winning.
Winning.
Really
good.
Yeah. I mean, look, firstly, some harrowing and humbling stories there, and certainly put some of my shit into perspective. Yeah, I'm all right. I've been here before with you. Like the last chap just said, probably about a year ago, did the 5-day, did the 28-day, probably did 1, maybe 2 months mastermind. Thought I knew it and I could go it alone, and I dare say some can. But I'm sure you'll give me some numbers on those that struggle, and I was in the latter. So quickly got back into very little exercise, bottle of wine most nights, every night, and back to how I was. So can't expect to get much out of life when you're putting very little in. And that's where I got back to wallowing in the past a bit. I stuffed a marriage up that was dying anyway, but hurt somebody that I shouldn't have done a long time ago, but struggling to let go of that. And work's changed a lot, had better jobs, blah, blah, blah. Just wallow in self-pity bollocks, really. And I get cross at myself, beat myself up about it, or do something about it then. And then guess what? Do nothing. And there's the phrase I've always had in life, do nothing. Guess what? Nothing changes.
Yeah, man.
So I'm back. I think for me, I've got a very addictive personality. I can slip into great habits just as easy. I can slip into bad ones.
But yeah.
So structure, discipline, clarity. That's what I need. This has been an absolute. You see that?
Yeah.
I didn't do that last time.
Okay.
I was doing bits.
What's that about? Was it even about last time a year ago? I can't even remember how long it's been out. It might have been.
Possibly. I think it was. But I need that structure, that discipline. I'm answerable to this. It asks me some chewy questions sometimes. I've got to be honest with it.
Yeah.
Look, I'm only a week in, so I'm not running away with it. But if you offer me 10 grand now to tell you the last Friday night that I didn't have a drink, you will be keeping your 10 grand in your bank, mate, because I would not have a clue. But last night and all this week, I've done it. I've done my miles on the bike. I've done my steps. I'm doing my calories. So I've got to stay on top of all this, but I'm in a good place.
That's really good. And I can hear you in a good place. So the first thing I want to ask you is that when you left the mastermind, why do you think it crashed and burned?
Consistency, JB, and discipline. Lack of both.
Lack of both. Okay.
In no particular order.
Was that just because there was no one to answer to, do you think? Like, I'm just like with the accountability thing.
I think so. And accountability is a big word in a job I used to have in a company I used to work in a few years ago. We were answerable. There was a success factor, we called it, and it was taking accountability.
Yeah.
Now you can evidence how you take accountability for yourself, your people, your actions. And look, that was not the military like your background, but I came away from that. So I think I lost that. I can drift into good. fucking drift into not good. Yeah, so that answers your question.
Yeah, that's cool. I just was interested. So like moving, like you're in a great place and I can hear it in your voice, like you're building that momentum and that fire, it's stoking. So in terms of next week, what do you think like your focus is going to be? And second question is, what is your biggest worry about moving forwards?
Next week, I want to do more of the same. I'm really mindful, you know, when I left the last 28-day program, I was in a good place. I'm doing better in the first week of this one than was the last one, but I guess I've got a bit of experience to draw on. So move more, drink less, JB. Really keep it really simple. Deliver. I'm going away with the kids and the other half next Saturday morning, a week today.
Great.
So certainly I will meet up with some red wine, no doubt, while I'm away. I don't mind that. I've never begrudged myself that. If I'm on holiday, I don't really care, short of drinking first thing in the morning, obviously. But it's the discipline then to come home, return to normal life. So I'm not going to drink until next Saturday night in sunny Torquay. So I'm about 5 days into that now, 6 days into not doing that. So got to keep that momentum going. I've got to think of it really. I've done 30 miles on my bike this week, first time in a long time. I'm nudging 15,000 steps a day, and I've done my calories. So what I don't want to do, and well, bollock me for lack of ambition if you want, but I don't suddenly want to say next week I do 40 or 50, and 20,000 steps, and because, but at some point there needs to be a step change. There needs to be, that's getting easy. I need to have a trigger where, just to keep myself real, that I change that. But for now, I've written all across the book this morning. I've just got to keep delivering, and at the moment, I'm delivering. Consistency, mate, is my worst enemy in the world. So if I can become consistent.
I can see. So one of my things was about the worry was that you get carried away too quick, too soon, and like you're there saying, like what you said was really great. I don't want you to. Like, I don't want to go on to the 20,000 steps and 20, because you could end up fucking 100,000 steps a day. But look at the steps that you have, right? And then when you're ready to up it, change the intensity of the steps, right? In that respect, okay? And what I mean by that is if you're cycling that, then maybe introduce 6,000. So I think 6,000 steps, 10,000 steps is 6 miles running, roughly. So then you can kind of almost change the intensity of how you're getting those steps, if that, is your focus, right? And then kind of looking at the cycling, you might do speed sets down. What I remember doing these this 1.5 mile long straight. And when I was on the bike, I used to sprint that 1.5 miles super hard, take 2 minutes rest, sprint all the way back. So instead of it being that casual long ride, I would change the intensity of the ride, so to speak. So when it gets to that point, and I can almost see just from talking to you, you'll get to that stage where you need that next hit. You need that next, that next challenge. But it doesn't have to be that challenge every single day. It might be that you do Monday to Thursday in terms of keeping things consistent, but Friday might be your let's go hard day training. You know, I always have a let's fit, like, you know, the whole like, oh my God, I feel sick, I'm fucked, I'm on the floor type of training session, because it just kind of wakes me up a little bit, test the comfort zone. So in terms of that, manage that like momentum, 100%, definitely. But like, dude, you are a ball of fire talking to you and listening to you, and it's really great to hear how well you're doing.
So much better. I mean, going back to the Friday night, I mean, normally I just got to the point where I thought, and I wasn't getting obliterated every night. I've got a job after work, I've got kids, but I wouldn't have a glass, bottle of wine. Get on the next day, I feel absolutely fine, but that's really bad as well, because your tolerance levels are increasing, same as eating. And I just thought, a few weekends ago, I just thought, I am sick and tired of feeling fucking sick and tired.
Yeah. You get sick of your own shit, right? You get sick of your own shit. Why do you think you drink?
Well, like I said, I had a good chat with Gary Elston via messenger on the app the other day, who's been a real star, by the way. Just a lot of guilt, really, JB. I hold a lot of guilt for. I was very selfish towards my lad's mum probably 4 years ago now, and it's a relationship. You can work out what I did without being graphic.
You get it.
But I carry a lot of anguish from that, a lot of regret, and the relationship's great now, by the way. She should put a gun to me, but it's actually the opposite, and I find that very humbling.
Yeah.
Very lucky with that. My lad's in a great place, but I find it really hard, and I've made myself accountable for that, and rightly so, absolutely rightly so.
Good.
I've looked myself in the whites of the eyes and said, "You're a tosser." But 3 or 4 years on, I'm not doing it every day, but I'm probably still doing too much of that, and I can't change it. You know, the front windscreen of your car is much bigger than the rear view mirror, isn't it?
Yeah.
So the analogy being, I've got to look forward,
Yeah,
and look back, and I think I've tended to wallow and just got in a shitty rut, mate. Really.
I get it. Like we got divorced for very similar reasons. You know, I was a completely different character in the military 10 years ago. And then when I left the military to go home and be a full-time dad and be around my kids and watch, that's the decision that I made. I left a career that, you know, I was fucking flying in that career. I had the best job. I had the best job in the Corps. And I made the decision that I didn't want to go away again to war or go back to Afghan or any of that. And I wanted to watch my kids grow up. And within 18 months, I was divorced and drinking. I spoke about my drinking on the show on Friday.
I watched it, in the morning.
And like I drank for the same reasons. Like I drank because I was beating myself up. It was my self-sabotage for what I had put my kids through, what I put my ex-wife through, who again, like you, I have a fantastic relationship with now, like really, really like good relationship. And it is, and I still carry that today. I guess part of me carries it. And a lot of people always say, and I spoke about this as well in a thing, a lot of people say, don't ever look back. But I always like to look back and look at how I was as a reminder of what the alternative is. So if I don't show up on a day-to-day basis, what's the alternative? That alternative is that like drunk who fell asleep on the sofa while his boy was begging him not to fall asleep to watch the film with him. You know, that like, and it's tear jerking. It like gets me every time. It nearly got me on a show yesterday. And you put yourself in your place. And I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. And I recognized that I was drinking because I didn't know how to handle my emotions, like 100%, you know, I was completely like, I felt so ashamed of the way that I had been for so long that I just didn't know how to face it. And I realized that for a lot of the time I was hiding those emotions and not dealing with them like front on, like face to face, like looking at like what you said. And I recognize when you look in the mirror, it's the accountability mirror, and you're a piece of shit. Like, and you look at yourself in that way, and you can't look yourself in the eye, so you drink. And because drinking just makes everything all right until the next morning you're the same. And to that point where the more I run, the more I called it my detox run, the more I was starting to realize and think more and reflect more and confront myself more. So it was a really interesting story, and I really resonate with the why you were drinking. And the reason I asked, because I wondered if it was a correlation of what you had done, guilt, because I think many men do that. You know, we drink because we don't know how to handle our own emotions or guilt or the past, or we've all made mistakes. We're human. Like we all make mistakes. I think the biggest mistake though is not accepting the mistake we've made rather than like confronting it and then allowing it to define us. Like that period of time there is what's defined me in terms of being a father and being a much better partner for Jem now, like, you know, and moving forwards. And I think it's the same, you know, like the more you connect with this program, yourself emotionally, the more you understand yourself, the more that little shadow of yours will disappear. Do you know what I mean? In a rearview mirror for sure. But really, really positive, dude. Really good to see you coming through and back.
Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Well done, mate.
Cheers.
I've got no more hands up. Does anyone else want to come on? Give me a wave and I'll just come to you. Right, I'm going to fucking pick on someone. Oh, Robert Holmes is coming on. Good. Robert.
Yeah. Hi there, JB. How you doing?
I'm all right, you?
Yeah, not bad, not bad.
You must have been on about a year ago.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. It was a totally different period of time. Really quite a difficult time, as I've spoken to you about. Unfortunately, I lost my partner to COVID, which really sucked. But basically, yeah, this year I've decided to do the 28-day challenge again, simply because I've missed a few tricks. particularly, I know exactly where my struggles are. Basically, organisation is my Achilles heel. I've been looking at my tables and using Excel better now. I'm starting to color code my where my time's going, basically. Far too much red in biz at the moment. I'm working far too much. I'm frontline worker, so they've had me very, very busy. I've been absolutely rammed, and working frontline, as you can imagine, has been quite emotionally straining as well. So yeah, I've been looking at that and kind of thinking, well, what am I doing about this? So I've approached my employer, and they put me on a new system, which is fantastic. So basically, that'll be kicking off in September. So I'm actually doing additional trainings at the moment. So I'm working towards opening up my career prospects somewhat. So personal development wise, though, that's where it's kind of got interesting. I've learned quite. I've been being trained by. I'm not sure if any of you guys know my story anyway. Gemma was my partner, and she knew quite a few successful people because she was all about personal development. I've been corresponding with some of her friends, and so I've been learning cryptocurrency recently, and that's been quite successful.
Good.
I've been doing trainings for that usually once a week, but they do them every day, and I've been kind of learning how to use the markets. So that's actually been pretty good at the moment.
Distracting in terms of your mindset as well, throwing yourself into something.
It's making me as much money a month as, you know, even though it's digital at the moment. But it's making me the same amount of cash as I'm making a month working, basically, at the moment.
Amazing.
So I'm
Well,
looking.
but one thing is definitely noticeable is that you've lost a lot of weight since last year.
Yeah, I've lost 4 stone, and I'm looking into another 2 stone. But I must say, this 2 stone's been harder to shift than the 4.
Well, it will be, mate. Yeah, it will be. Yeah. So last time we spoke, obviously you had literally just lost your partner, hadn't you? Like to COVID, and you had us all in tears. We were all crying. Literally, everyone was crying on the Zoom call. So how have you coped in the last year in kind of coming to terms with that loss?
The most difficult thing has been learning to move forward and look at the positives, because unfortunately, with the circumstances, you know, there was a lot of negativity in that respect. You know, there was a lot of things that were quite difficult in that they weren't really discussed properly with myself and families. So moving forward, myself and family have been kind of looking at the positives and trying to reflect on that rather than negatives. However, I have been involved with quite a few other young people who have obviously lost their lives, and but I've been helping quite a few of them because, like, some of them were worse than me. You know, their mindset was destroyed, and but I've helped them get back on track, and which is, you know, probably one of the things I'm most proud about, to be honest. There's quite a few of those where I thought I was on the precipice, but some of them are really, you know, talking to them, I thought, Jesus, I've just caught them in time.
You are. I think you'll find, Robert, you're more of an inspiration than you think. And I remember you being quite inspirational last time. You're very supportive of everybody. You can see it on when I'm doing lives and shows on the Man Coach page. In here, I can see the comments coming through. So, you know, you have a real gift in terms of, like, in that respect, which is amazing to see, dude. So, in terms of focus, what is going to be your main focus for next week then?
Currently, it's those organizational charts. To be honest, that's where I'm really, that's my Achilles heel. Some of the other lads that were on your last year's 28 day, I'm actually, they keep in touch, and they ask me about my accountability, how I'm doing, and you know, are you doing this and this, and then they'll thing is, they'll give me a kick up the arse as well. They'll be like, come on, Rob, fuck's sake. If I miss getting in touch with them for a half week or something, they'll let me know. I think some of them have been in your mastermind as well.
Yeah.
But a lot of them, fitness wise and things, they are ahead. But when it comes to it, it's your own personal journey. So
well, it's not about how fit or strong you are. It's just about reaching your own capabilities. 100%.
Yeah.
Mate, I think again, it's so interesting to catch up with you a year later, see how you progressed. You're a real credit to yourself, and your partner would definitely be super proud of you, mate. 100% how you've tackled yourself, mate. And I said that last time, and this time it's no different, even more so. 4 stone down, pushing that last 2 stone, helping everybody around you, doing a great job, building something on a side hustle for yourself. It's really inspiring, bro.
Thanks, JB, and I'm so pleased I found you on here, because to be honest, having I not, the alternative would have been terrible. So I'm very, very pleased that I found this group, and your lads, hearing their stories as well. They're going to come far. They're good. I can see the determination there. They're going to do it.
Good man. Robert, well done, dude. Good man.
Yeah. Cheers, JB.
Really good. Some inspiring stories this morning, guys. Does anyone want to come on? James does. Come on, James. Oh, James, you fucking prick. That's what you're saying. I've been caught out. You just looking at me, James. I was like, I can feel you want to come on. How you doing?
I'm good. You all right?
Yeah, cool, pal. How's things?
Yeah, good. I enjoyed the line this morning. That was quite nice. I'm getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love the week. I literally love the weekend. I'm like, fuck yes, no getting up. Question: why would you not volunteer to come on? Are you nervous about coming on?
A wee bit, a little bit. And listening to kind of all these other brave stories, you're like, no, we're pretty down the bottom of the pile here.
You're not down the bottom of the pile. Remember what I said? Like, everybody has something going on. You're all equal, guys. You're all equal. Yeah. Some people are going through a harder time right now, but I think it's important to come on and be part of the course. This is what you want to be part of, right?
Yeah, definitely.
You don't get this opportunity that many times. So how's the course been for you? How have you been doing?
Good. Quite eye-opening, to be honest. Some of the stuff about being honest with yourself and reflecting, like asking quite big questions that maybe you've hidden from before, and if you start digging a bit, it can be a bit stings a bit. Let's put it that way. But you've got to do it, haven't you? You've got to. If you want to get to the bottom of things, you've got to be able to start digging and being honest with yourself. So
definitely, really good point as well. And I think those questions are purposely designed to dig up some emotions and some thought processes, because I always feel that if we don't deal with them, we can never really move. We're always still chained to something. This skeleton's always in the closet, right? And I think that's a really, really great point. What made you join the course?
Just a bit fed up, to be honest. Like previously, I'd always felt I was quite switched on, quite confident, quite happy with everything. And then like various things happen through the years, and there's this like downward trend, and you get to a point where you're like, actually, this isn't that enjoyable anymore. And try and sort it out before it goes too far. Try and sort it out. Be a bit honest with yourself and get back to where you want to be, where you could be.
100%.
Just a bit bored of the old BS, I think.
Yeah, you do, and that's what we were talking about with one of the other lads, and it's like you get sick of your own shit, right? You just are so sick of making excuses all of the time. Do you feel like you've been more organised this week?
Absolutely, yeah. Like doing the week-long plan, it gives you, rather than fighting fires here, running there, having the plan. Okay, I'm doing that. I've got my workout in then. We're doing this tomorrow. Even if something pops up and it's not on your plan, I found this week, having planned already, that I'm much more able or much more accepting of, something's popped up, no worries, we can deal with it. 100%. So that planning and routine has definitely helped.
That's good. That's good. So like going into next week, what's your, like, now you've kind of got like that first week under your belt, what do you kind of feel like how are you going to push yourself next week?
Kind of getting back into the running a bit, not run for a long time.
Okay.
The first run I did was on the 5-day one.
I did one run last week. Yeah, I do exercise. I do like body weight stuff, other stuff in the garden, but I'm going to try and get back into the running because I always enjoyed that.
Okay.
Yeah, get back and
So what do you reckon? Let's make a plan for the running. What do you reckon on 3 5Ks? Is that too much?
No, if I'm not here next time, it's too much. But no, we'll try it. Yeah, 3 5Ks.
3 5Ks. Remember, like I said to I think it was Paul. I can't remember who it was. It's an hour and a half out of 168-hour week, right? So boom, boom, boom. Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And if you put it into your weekly schedule, it's part of your process, right? You're not having to squeeze it in. It's part of that process. Makes sense?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So see, good. Already a breakthrough coming on. Quick chat. Just good to like iron it out, get out your system. Anything else you need to talk about?
No, I'm good. Just enjoyed it, and it's
Good man.
stuff.
Who's your ambassador?
Jez.
Oh yeah, thorough, Mr. Thoroughbred. He's super thorough. You won't get an inch.
Excellent.
Good man, James. Good to talk to you.
You too. Take care.
Take care.
Cheers.
Cool. Let's go. Who's next? Come on, Nick. Nick wants to come in. Come on, Nick. Thumbs up. Here we go. Great. William.
Good morning.
How are you?
James, JB, and all. I'm good.
Back.
I'm good. Yeah. Slim Shady. Look who's back. Yeah, it's good to be here. Not good to obviously hear these stories, but and it does put things in perspective. And basically, for me, what's paramount more so than anything is self-care and keeping yourself 100% in whatever way, shape or form you've got to do that. I do it on a daily basis and have been for some time. I've been on previously, all good intentions, and my routine and my structure and my life has been fairly good. I've been fairly, well, maybe too rigid, but it's the final details, seem to, and I've got into a comfort zone. I've not got complacent. I'm not resting on my laurels. I'm in long term. I've been in recovery, so it's a constant. But I've had to be in this comfort zone to a certain extent to lick my wounds and nurture and heal from some deep-rooted trauma. I hadn't realised how much of an effect, and not on my conscious level. On a conscious level, yeah, boom, I'm up every morning, up and at them. But on a deeper level, there's some paradigms and some self-limiting beliefs. There's some old ways of thinking that, especially since my circumstances have changed with having custody of my son, he's come from a place of trauma and dysfunctionality, and he's sort of out of the frying pan into the fire because not that this is dysfunctional, but it's like I've got normality here now in my flat, my home. I've built up where it was so carnage, a few years ago. I've had to call on all resources, get some normality, some structure, fitting in, and a routine. And that's something that he didn't have. So when he's come here and he's had that. He's rebelled. He wants to be anywhere but here. So this is coming up to 2 years now, and it's been one of the most testing things I've done. In recent times. It's not the worst thing that I've been through, but it's been testing. But it's brought out points that have come up. Everything happens for a reason. It's how you look at it, your perspective on it, and what you get out of it. There's always something to get out of it. Like I say, don't get on the pity pot. And through this, it has. But I wouldn't change anything because even though it's not volatile, but it can trigger me still. We've worked through because we're stuck with each other. I've had to take responsibility. I've had to stand up and accept the responsibility. Like you say, what's the alternative? Well, the alternative is going to his grandparents, which is not realistic. They're too old and whatever. Going to his aunties, she's got her own stuff going. There's no other alternative. He can't go into care. That's not an option. Definitely not. I went through the care system and that wouldn't happen. But so I've had to, and when we say acceptance of things on a conscious level, yes, we can accept it there and then. But on a deeper level, I've found that I haven't accepted it. There's still harboring feelings of resentment, stuff from my childhood. It's been a tremendous learning process, and now I've got to the point where we've only got today. I've lost a friend recently. I don't mean he ended up in Manchester and I was in Liverpool. he was found dead, and I was in the house. I went round, someone was concerned, hadn't seen him for a few days. He was in recovery, but he couldn't, you know, he had his demons, couldn't come to terms with life. And basically, I was in the house, shouting, knocking on doors, and basically, I thought I was in the wrong house, but it turns out I was in the right house, and he was, you know, in one of the rooms dead. Police found him, you know, so we've had that to deal with. But it just made me realise that you either get it or you don't, and it's just like, you know, unfortunately, he didn't, and I have. And you know, we have to process stuff, you know, and let it go and get on with life, because you know we don't know. We don't know how long we've got. You know, just like you say, that footballer, you know, he killed over on the pitch, and I've got so much going for me. And what you say about other people having it worse off, there are other people online now that have had things happen, but we don't want to dismiss our own feelings about stuff, our own stuff. What we're going through is still relevant to us, and we can be dismissive, and that's just lack of, you know, lack of worth and all that sort of stuff. You know, so you know what we're going through is relevant and is, you know, important. And
yeah, William, you said like a different William that I spoke to last year, which is really great. So obviously a lot of the stuff is sinking in, and I know that you watch a lot of the shows, which is really great. So I think that's obviously having an impact subconsciously, which is great to hear. So, dude, I think like you have a really great understanding of life, I guess. I think you've got a high level of emotional intelligence as well. So you understand the situation, you understand what's going on in yourself as well, which I think is always great. And you definitely sound so much more conditioned than you did last year. You know what I mean? So like it's you know what you want. Like I think you're 95% there, 110%. So you know, like you say, that 5% of just the finer details, like the
tweaking,
the tweet, 100%.
Or the radio station is just slightly out. You know, you get fuzziness, or the old video player, the VHS. You know, with the tracking.
100%. I get it, and that's obviously what you're here for and looking for. That might be the accountability. That might be just the wanted to reignite the structure or the mindset. But I think overall, dude, you know, it was a great talk. You know. Have you got like a Hoover or something going under your feet?
That's my computer. It's desktop. It's just like my friend's supposed to be coming over and reboot whatever he's supposed to be doing here. It's a lot less, you know, it's not as bad as it was last year. Probably like me. That's it. There's still that little bit in the background. You know, last year it was like, you know. But
what's the focus, William, for next week?
My
focus for next week.
Focus for next week. I've got a lot of stuff going on. I've got a TIR, thinking into results, like Bob Proctor stuff and the mindset stuff, and I've got to be mindful. Whereas before, this, you know, sort of took me away, and I've gone off and ended up going, you know, and just put my feet up and just like, no, I've got to be mindful of my recovery. I don't, you know, my head has been aching this last, because I've been doing homework. I've been trying to do the modules as well. Yeah. That all brings up stuff, all good stuff. So what I'm going to do next week, I've got a few things going on. I'm going to keep it in the day. I'm going to have a plan of action. Have my 3 things that I want to do for that day, focus on that, and whatever else I can do and fit in, and whatever it is, without overstretching myself, but knowing, with the running, picking up the pace, you know, because I have been going through a little bit of comfort zone, but obviously that's why the accountability, writing stuff down, just pick up the pace slightly each day, but not to the point where it has to be, everything has to be perfect, and beating myself up, and, you know,
just a high level.
Yeah.
Good man, William. Great chat.
Thanks,
great progress.
It's good to see you all. You know,
you? Yeah, it's nice. I like these things. It's good. Are you coming to the Remember the Mission seminar?
I will endeavour to, James.
In November.
I will endeavour. It sounds good. I don't know about the drinking afterwards, but
drinking. Okay. Thanks, dude. Well done.
Thank you,
Andrew. You there, Andrew? I'm still on mute, mate. Let me unmute. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you.
How's it going? Long time?
Yeah, it has been. Yeah. I just wanted to come on really quickly, just because I got to a boy to football at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
But I just feel really humbled to be back, and I just want to say what a pleasure and a privilege it is to be back with part of this group. my story is quite similar to Simon's earlier on about being part of the mastermind. I got overwhelmed with a house move. It was horrendous, and I had to leave. But in that time, I've just like lost my way. So I've been like dipping in and out, doing the 5-day challenge, wanted to come back in, and I'm here now. So I've kind of like, I'm on 2 weeks leave, been following the tasks and the modules that you've been setting, and even though I've not been doing it like my morning routine, I've not been following it religiously. I've been completing everything, my journal every day, and it's glad I'm just glad to be back, really, JB. So it's going to give me a bit more sort of like perspective and things I want to do for myself. Yeah.
Good for you. Remember, you don't have to do everything all at once. It doesn't all come in the first week. You know, like, so that morning, like by the end of the course, if you're nailing your morning routine, then you're winning. So it's slowly introduce all of that, one step at a time. I mean, you were with us for a while, I remember, and I remember you. I think I remember saying to you, actually, I remember you emailed me and I said, are you sure you want to leave? Because I feel like you're leaving on an emotional whim. Like a lot of people leave in the emotional moment. You're like, fuck this, I don't want to do it. And I could tell you weren't ready, but you have to go away and experience that, right? And that's the thing. And, you know, I keep a little folder of every email that I receive of everyone that messaged me about a month later after leaving the mastermind saying you were absolutely right. Because we obviously do a no return policy for 6 months, because I want that to go away for 6 months and experience life without it for 6 months. And like, that's what you've done. And I'm really pleased to come back. I always thought you would come back just when the time was right. So I'm pleased that you are here, equally as humbled that you're back here, dude, in a good place, working on yourself. How was the new house?
Brilliant. Love it. We're all happy. It's still settling in. But in a better place. So really happy with that.
You seem it, definitely. I think you were I don't think you were in a great place when you joined just the first time. I think you had all of that. You were so distracted with everything that was going on. I don't think you could really give it your all. So I think probably now you're more settled and grounded with the base. You're probably more likely to get more out of this. Good man. I know you got to go, so I won't dive in too deep, mate. But like, reach out whenever. It's great to have you back.
All right, cheers, mate.
Good man, well done.
Cheers, bye.
Cool. Anyone else? Anyone else? Volunteers? Don't be afraid to come on. Simon, I'm going to pick on you because you look enthused to come on. Let's go. You're like, fucking pick me. I can feel it. Can you hear me? You should be able to. You're off mute now, Si, so you should be able to talk to me. Oh, but I can't hear you. I still can't. I can see you.
That better?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I got you.
Sorry, I was in the kitchen.
Oh, no, sorry. Not the. I've spoken to this Simon. There's another Simon. Let me have a look here.
I'll stand down.
Simon with the glasses. Simon with the glasses and the beard. That's a great beard. Can you hear me? Yeah, but I can't hear him. Can anyone else hear him, or is it just me? No. Okay. I reckon you've got it on mute there, Simon. So you can't. So on purpose, so you don't have to come on. You figure that out, and then I'll come back to you, Si. Steve, I want to talk to Steve. Steve with the t-shirt on that says Steve.
Yeah, fire away.
What's happening?
You have to bear with me because I'm new to this Zoom and I'm doing it off my mobile phone, so
don't worry, man.
All over the place.
It's fine. I got you. How are you?
Not too bad. Listening to the other stories, it's knocked me a little bit back. I was a bit on the fence whether to put a wave in and get on here.
What made you? Why was you on the fence?
Just that I struggle with interaction with people and doing things like this. It's right out of my comfort zone anyway. Even being here, even looking and talking to you now.
Good for you though. You're here. You're in a good place.
But the biggest struggle for me is module 3. It was me that messaged you the other morning.
Got you.
Because I just don't have no passion, no drive. I just don't do nothing. I've got nothing going on. I don't have no goals. That's what I really struggle with.
Okay.
5 years ago, I made a decision to lose. I lost about 5 stone. I give up drinking. I give up smoking. One was because I had a management job and I put on a lot of weight and I went back on the tool scaffolding. And the other reason was my son. So I wanted to be fitter and healthier.
Yeah.
Lost all the weight and didn't like the end result. Hated it. Got into running. Hated that. And that sort of the negative mindset hasn't disappeared really. And I just struggle setting goals. I just like there's no passion to do anything.
Okay. Why do you think there's no passion? Is it just because are you hating life at the minute?
Yeah, to put it bluntly, I don't. Every day's a struggle.
Why do you hate life at the minute?
I'm in counselling sessions and when they ask me the same questions, I can't pinpoint it. I just does. To be blunt, I just don't want to be here. And if it wasn't for my 5-year-old son, I don't think I would be here. Okay. He's the only reason I've been doing the morning routine. I've been training. I know I need to train. I know I need to keep active.
Okay.
But I can't stand doing it. So every morning's a struggle. It's a fight. So I always find that I'm starting my day on a bad foot because I do my morning routine.
Yep.
But the negativity is constantly there.
Okay. So in terms of your morning routine, tell me what you do, if you don't mind.
I typically, depending, because I train a bit of jiu-jitsu as well. So if I train jiu-jitsu, I start at 5. If I don't train jiu-jitsu, I start at 4. And I normally start with a cold dip. I've got a 6-foot freezer, keep it just above freezing. I jump in there for 2 minutes. I out then gratitude practice while I'm warming up.
Good.
And a bit of journaling, thoughts from the night before. And then I do Tom Morrison's S&M flexibility routines with 20 years of scaffolding has taken its toll on me and I'm a bit lopsided.
Okay.
And then followed by some resistance training and either, depending if I have my son overnight, I either do a walk or some bag work or a bit of kettlebell work to finish off.
Okay. So
that's over a 6-day week.
That's a good routine, right?
Yeah, the routine's spot on. You can't knock that. It does change. I change my exercises. I've got my own gym set up. I don't have to go anywhere. It's just the mindset. It's just the negativity is.
What do you feel
constant.
Negative about, Steve?
It's every situation, everything. As soon as I wake up in the morning, well, I'm not in a. Everything's gone pear-shaped this year. Lost my job, so financially ruined, on the verge of going bankrupt. Relationship failed.
Okay.
So accommodation wise, I haven't got myself sorted yet. So I'm just sharing in a property. So I don't really like the environment I'm living in.
Okay.
So that obviously I'm not with my son or in the house as much, but that's not a bad thing either because the relationship wasn't great. Just.
Okay, so when did you break up with your partner, your boy's mum?
That was just before Christmas.
Just before Christmas. And when did it start? Yeah. So did COVID affect your business?
I was working for the water board. I retired from scaffolding. I was working for Welsh Water. And they just, obviously with the COVID, they decided that they weren't going to release any more money and they offloaded a load of men.
Okay.
And then.
Are you unemployed at the minute?
I'm just starting out in myself external cleaning services. I'm sat in the car now, ready to go to my first customer. Hence why I've got the Works t-shirt on. So I'm starting my own business. So
Good
I've taken because but that's solely because I don't want to go back and work the hours I was working were 100-hour weeks, and that was no good. So don't get me wrong, I have good thoughts, and if I can get my mind into it, I can go places. Like the giving up smoking, the giving up drinking. It was right tomorrow. That's it. Day out, done. and I stopped instantly. There was no dipping back into it. There was no sneaky fags or drink. It was done, stopped.
Okay.
When I done the training, it was 6 months solid with a trainer, pretty much the same diets, food, nutrition that you use. He gave me menus and everything, and I stuck to it and I lost 5 stone.
Okay.
So when I can get into the mindset, I know
Yeah.
I can do well. But I've always had a destructive mindset for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. So do you think that you're maybe in this mindset because of like a lot has happened to you in the last?
It stems from childhood.
Okay.
I have with the counsellor, I'm working on PTSD because there was a lot of crap that I dealt with.
Okay.
And then I've been in denial my adult life, thinking, well, yeah, I had a shit life, but I can muster through, I can get through it kind of attitude.
Yeah.
But it's been a destructive adulthood.
Okay. I just want to ask you a question. Do you want to change?
I want to and need to. That's why I'm here. I'm right out of my comfort zone.
Tell me what you must do, Steve.
Because I need to get something out of life. I put too much burden on my 5-year-old son. Not that he's aware of it.
Yeah.
But in my own head, it's not his place for me to be here.
Okay.
I got to want to be here for me.
Good.
And then he's gonna see the benefits of it.
Yeah. Down the line.
In the long run.
When you talk there,
want
Steve,
to be here and now.
You're talking to me like you got some passion. Like I feel like you're talking to me like you've got some passion about like that need and must to be here. Like,
yeah,
I can see the passion to be there. So like when you talk about like not having passion, you have passion to be here.
Yeah, but it's the negative. Put it in perspective. I when I was doing the training, it was an ex-para that I was working with, a personal trainer, and he tried to get me into running, and he said, right, come on, we'll do a 10K race. He said, after the end of it, he said, you'll love it and you'll be hooked. After the end of the 10K race, I got a medal. I didn't even make it back to the car, and I binned it. I was just gutted, disappointed. I'd done the 10K race, and I was so deflated. I was like, I haven't run since. Now that's the problem I have. I try and do something, and then I'm not happy with the end result, so it just knocks me for 6 all the time.
So would you say that that's like the level of expectations that you're setting yourself?
I think I could be to reach the end goal is not what I think it should be.
Okay.
Now, to put it a different way, if you put £50,000 winning fee on the end of for me completing the 10K run, I probably would have had a different outlook on it. Okay. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I totally get it, 100%. So, like, I think in terms of, do you struggle to see what your wins are in the day-to-day life? Do you kind of like struggle to see those wins because they're not?
Yeah, because
enough.
I've got your journal. It's like breakthroughs and wins I haven't filled out because to me it's just a normal freaking day and nothing's
okay.
Nothing.
So you're almost, I guess I'm just trying to build up a picture really. Like, so you're almost passing the 1% wins and almost wanting the 100% wins. Like now, you're bypassing the short.
I understand the concept of it that you can't be 100% tomorrow.
Yeah.
But my mind doesn't allow me to do that.
No, I get it.
I think, oh yeah, right. So I wanted to, like before I injured my back, I wanted to reach a 300 kilo deadlift. Okay. I got to it.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to take time.
Yeah.
But every day was a struggle. This is shit. But it was only because I was working with someone that I turned up and we managed to achieve it.
You just want to do the 300 kilograms there and then, don't you? You don't want to fucking do all the work. You just want to do it.
I want the result. I don't mind the work. I've grafted all my life. 20 years of scaffolding. Do you know what I mean? I've worked all over the world, 12-hour shifts, 7 days of work. Graft is not an issue. It's the amount I can't understand it. I know that it should take time to do things, and you learn from that. But at the end, it doesn't seem like the achievement was big enough for the amount of effort I put into it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. So
I achieve something and I'm just totally deflated that it wasn't worth it.
okay.
And I think the years of that happening.
So
really...
the best way that we can get out of this, mate, and we have to start somewhere, is that we have to start rewiring the mind, like, and start rewiring that thought, right? And I think that the only way we're going to do this, and this is what I want you to do for the rest of the fucking course, every fucking day, like, I want you to take a picture of the wins and the happiest moments and the breakthroughs in your journal. Before you go to bed, you take a picture and you send it to me on the app. Because the only way that you are going to rewire this, if you keep going the way that you're going, you're on this hamster wheel of like, I fucking hell, I could earn £1 million, but that's bullshit because I want to earn £10 million. Okay. That, like, you know, I fucking run. I broke the world record of the 5K. It's fucking bullshit because it wasn't quick enough. So like, you have slowly built up a mental attitude of like fuck the process.
Nothing's good enough.
No, 100%. Nothing is ever going to be good enough, ever. And what you have to recognize and ground yourself is that like, you have to start recognizing certain habits, certain rituals, certain things that you're doing as recognized wins. Like for me, you talking to me on here in front of these lads is a monumental breakthrough, but you won't see it as that.
It is. I'm shaking still. That's how much I don't want to be
breakthrough, Steve. And this is like, and like you say, you don't have passion, but I see a man who is driven and passionate to change. Like I see a man who's passionate and driven to change. And throughout most of this chat in the last 5-10 minutes, we haven't talked much about your son. So to me, you have that want to do this for you. Of course, you want to do it for your boy as well. But like, you have that like passion, that desire. And I don't think you realize that. I think you completely and utterly blank that out. I think you're so tunnel visioned in terms of like end result. I need that. But I guaranteed if I walked around with you or lived with you for 5 days, I would be like, that's a win. That's a fucking win. That's a win. Like your win and your morning routine is solid. That's a win.
Yeah.
That's an absolute win. You recognize that as a win. And the more you start telling your brain, the more you reckon with your subconscious and your conscious mind, the more you start going, this is a win. Like, so what I want you to do is almost, have you got a pen there?
Yeah, I'm writing stuff down.
Right. All right. So what I want you to do is set an alarm on your phone, right? And set an alarm at your phone at 8 in the morning, 12 in the afternoon, 4 in the afternoon, and 8 at night.
Yeah.
And every time that alarm goes off, you are going to go to your journal and you are going to write down the wins of the morning between waking up and 8. When it goes off at 12, you're going to write down the wins from 8 till 12. When it goes off at 4, 12 till 4. When it goes off at 8, from 4 to 8. And you are going to literally spend, we're talking 3 minutes here, and you're going to write down the things that you've done. And you're going to start fucking getting rid of this cloud of bullshit and start realizing actually the smaller things in life are making a difference. Because that's the difference in the mindset, dude. Like, you're telling yourself one thing, you have to start telling yourself another thing. Because if you don't, you're staying that merry-go-round. Like, you just go round.
Yeah, it's a vicious circle.
100%. But you have to start changing the internal dialogue here. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it does make sense. I just need direction and getting there, because
100%.
I've read books and stuff, but it just doesn't sink in.
Yeah.
No, having the accountability side of it now as well.
But what I've told you is what I want you to do. And at 8 o'clock, once you've put your file in, all you're going to do is take a screenshot and you're going to fucking send that to me on the app. Okay. Doesn't mean all I'm going to do is put a thumbs up every single morning when I go in to check. I'll put a thumbs up. Great. That is in theory, another 21 days of getting into that habit of doing that stuff and start recognizing the small things. Now, when we talk in 2 weeks on the 2 weeks. So the next one is going to be on the Thursday night, not next Thursday after. I want you on here and I want to know, like, I want you to consciously start fucking recognizing those wins and start forcing yourself to change the thought patterns. Okay, I want you to drag your ass off the floor, and I want you to start being a little bit more driven about finding this Steve of old, like the Steve that has power of himself, who has desire, of passion, of who recognizes what they're doing. The mental resilience that you are showing through such difficult times is great. Okay, is great. You have you have everything to live for, Steve. How old are you?
42.
42. You're my age. We're both 42.
Yeah.
We're not even fucking halfway yet. The aim is to get to 100. And when you get to 100, okay, when we're aiming to get to 100, halfway means that we're only at 50. So we still got another 7 years before we even get halfway. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Yeah,
You've got
total sense.
the rest of your life. And the problem that you probably have as well, you're like, this is probably not where I wanted to be at 42. I wanted to be somewhere else at 42. And you're fucking having that concept in your mind. You're like, fuck that. This is like a brand new chapter, right? Brand new.
You are right in that respect, because everything is literally losing everything now. So I'm starting again from fresh. You are right. It is.
But you're young. You're young and fucking handsome enough to find another woman. Do you know what I mean? You have the resilience and the inner strength. Good to see you laugh. More laughter as well. All right.
Definitely.
But you can, and I write this in my new book. So my new book is going to be out in a couple of weeks. And one of the things I talk about is that when we face this way, right, this path here is the path of old. This is where we're standing right now on the mountain. Everything that's happened from our childhood through our childhood to where we are right now has defined who we are here. This path here is our future. This is how we use what we've learned in that path so far and how we define ourselves. Do you know what I mean? So this path here is unwritten. It's a blank canvas. You have every fucking opportunity to make the most out of life. You have all the tools you need. You're in a great place by being here. You're in a great place by doing your therapy. But at some point, you have to take the bulls by the horns and take responsibility and say, it doesn't matter. I'm not where I want to be. It doesn't matter that the relationship failed. It doesn't matter that job, or I'm going on the verge of going bankrupt. What matters is about what I'm going to do about it. How am I going to come out of this fucking storm and find true character, true principle, true purpose? And the problem that you have is that you want it now. I want it like fucking right now. But what you've got to recognize is that the win is that you're here still on the course, that you're here talking to me, that you've reached out to me, that you've done morning routines all week. That's just 4 wins.
Yeah.
Like it's 4 wins that we haven't even gone into detail. I could probably come and sit down with you and we could probably work out 10 to 15 fucking wins that you've hit in this week. And you turn around and go, fucking good week. And then next week.
When someone else is saying it to me, it made me something.
Yeah. Everything means.
I just see us going through the motions.
This is not going through the motions. If you were going through the motions, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be sat here. You wouldn't have made the effort. Do you know what I mean? And so when we're on in 2 weeks' time, a week and a half time, and I say to you, right, volunteers to come up, bang, you're going to be first. Okay. But I want from tonight, I want that journal like every fucking night without fail. When that alarm goes and you've done it, you screenshot it and you send it to me. And that is your commitment more than anything, to recognize that.
Right. So that's just the wins for the day.
Wins, breakthroughs. Do you know what I mean?
Breakthroughs.
You know what page I'm on about, don't you? With the happiest moments and
it's on the daily focus, but it's got the happiest moments of the day, the biggest distractions, the biggest wins.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
So just reverting back quickly, is the 10-year plan, because it's obviously
forget the 10-year plan for now. Steve, forget the 10-year plan. Focus. What I want you to do instead of a 10-year plan is a plan for the end of the year.
Plan for the end of the year.
To Christmas. When you get to Christmas, where do you want to be in each of those pillars?
Cool. Sounds good.
Happy?
Yeah, you've raised my spirits quite a bit, actually. I can feel myself leveling out now.
Good. That's all it needs, right? Like this in here just needs the right fuel.
Yeah, definitely. But
And
now when you're saying it to me, everything makes perfect sense, and
good.
but just for me to say it to myself, it just doesn't sink in. Like,
And the last thing before we finish, tell all of us, say out loud that you are good enough.
I am good enough.
Good lad, because you are 100%, bro. 100%. Virtual fist bump. Let's go. Virtual fist bump. Boom. All right. Good lad. Steve, build on this. Do not let fucking anything in there. This is a fort. Do not let anything in here. You stay positive. And every time you feel negative, you write it down in your distraction. Start getting out of here. Start thinking more positives. I want to see your happy moments and your wins rammed. Okay. And every time you feel down, and you will, within the next hour, it will start creeping back in. You start fighting back. You start fighting back all of the time.
Right. Yeah. Sound.
All right. Happy?
Yeah. Good.
Who's your ambassador?
Good. Darren.
Darren. Okay. Cool. Nice one.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well done, Steve. Good lad.
Cheers, JB. Thank you.
Well done, bro. Simon with the glasses. Let's try again. Let me unmute you. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, there you go.
What's happening? How you doing?
I'm all right.
Yeah.
It's been, completed everything for this week.
Right.
It's challenging.
Okay. What's challenging? What's the main challenge?
Delving into myself, figuring myself out.
Hard to face?
Yeah. It's never easy.
What's the biggest struggle that you face with about yourself?
I think it's the honesty side of it. Accepting who I am, where I'm at.
Yeah.
And then putting it down on paper for, if you like, the world to see.
How did that make you feel?
Not any worse than I already do. And depression and anxiety, I mean, there's nothing that anybody else can say that I haven't already said.
Yeah.
But it's done. Yeah. I'm surprised I've done it. I wobbled in the middle part of the week going, I'm falling behind, and it's just one of them. It's set. I want it done. I want it out of the way. But I got there.
Good lad. It's always hard, right, when you change? It's
Yep.
always hard. Like, there's no two ways about it. Like, we feel vulnerable, right? I feel vulnerable a lot of the time.
Yeah. It's horrible.
Of course it is. We feel exposed, right? And
Mhm.
we feel like we've opened the door to something, and then suddenly someone's reaching into we're almost exposing our soul, if you like, and our internal thoughts.
Yeah.
But I feel, would you agree it's a necessary thing to go through before we start breaking through and moving forwards?
It is. Yeah. And then since the 5 day, I mean, in the next kind of 3 weeks, everything's changing again. I'm going to be starting work, which has kind of come out of the blue.
Okay.
That's going to lead straight on from the back of this 28 days. So there's, yeah. So.
Okay, cool. So in terms of next week, what are you going to do to push yourself?
I want my morning routine to stay pretty much as it is, which I'm enjoying. It's hard work and I'm tired, but it's getting there. Nutrition for me is the big thing.
Okay. So what's wrong with nutrition now?
I started the 28-day meal plan that you've done.
Okay.
Loved it.
Great.
And then I've had a couple of days where I've been out all day and I've snacked. And it's just, the rest of the day's just gone to crap.
Okay. Do you track? Are you tracking?
No.
Okay. So one of the things I would focus more on than the meal plan is the tracking side of things, right?
Yes.
Like it's trying to get the right amount of food in you. That's what's going to affect the weight loss, right? And if we can get into a habit of what I've just spoken to Steve there in terms of putting those alarms in your phone.
Yeah.
That's almost a great trigger to say, hey, it's time to put in your calories for the morning. Then putting calories, that's from the 8 o'clock to 12, like, you get the score. And actually just like seeing at the end of the week how many calories you've consumed versus how many we're looking to aim for in terms of CD. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then focus more on that than beating yourself up in terms of having this few snacks. Because listen, you might have a few snacks, but you might well be within your calorie allocation. And the thing that I always think is best with fat loss or weight loss or anybody that's trying to lose or look better is, first of all, get into the habit of tracking. Once you get the habit of tracking and understanding that tracking, then we focus a bit more on the protein levels. Then you focus on that. And then we focus on actually, let's look at those calories we're consuming. Let's then nail those calories. And I think one step at a time, rather than trying to do it all, can really help you.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's like I said, the nutrition plan is great.
Yeah.
But the first few days that I've done it, it was literally breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack. Couldn't eat anything else.
Okay.
But as soon as I come off anything like that, that's when it's like, the sugar comes in and the biscuits and all the junk food.
Yeah, man.
And it makes me feel lousy after.
Yeah.
And not just physically, but mentally.
Yeah, I completely relate. What made you sign up for the course, Si?
The fact that over the past 2 years, I've literally lived Groundhog Day. It's been the same routine over and over again. And I've just got to that point of going, I can't do it anymore.
Okay. You just need to find, just kind of getting out of that existing state.
Yep. That's all it was. It was just getting up, doing the school routine, coming home, doing nothing, school routine, coming home, eating, going to bed.
Okay. And do you feel like that's slowly starting to change, or are you learning ways to make that change?
It is changing. The past probably 10 weeks now, I've been hitting the gym pretty much every day. And people think I'm crazy because I'm normally in about 4:15, even though I have all day to go. I just can't go into a gym that's full of people.
Okay. Is that
so I go with
nervousness?
Nervous, anxiety, you name it. I just walk in there and I'm like, I'm out of my comfort zone straight up.
Imposter syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And there's a lot of that, but there's a lot of other things that are going on in my head as well.
What I'd love for you to do is set yourself a challenge before the end of the course to go during a busy period.
Oh, thanks. Okay.
Like I just spoke to Steve there, it's in terms of like pushing ourselves, right, in terms of things that don't make us feel comfortable to start with. Actually, as soon as you start going and you get familiar with it, honestly, I reckon if you could start going for the last week of the course, but you built yourself up to prepare it, it would do you the world of good. Confidence, like, and I know that you'll be battling that, like, a lot of those emotions, right? But I feel like in a couple more weeks, you're going to start feeling a little bit more organized and controlled. Yeah. And I feel like if you can test yourself in that respect and you do 5 days in your gym, you'd be like, no one's even, like, if you take stock of what's going on around you, you realize that no one gives a fuck that you're there. No one's like, fucking Simon's here, guys. Simon, like, you know what I mean? That's like, I recognize that with a lot of guys, you know.
But that's what it feels like when I walk. It just, somebody has to look at me, and it's like everybody's just, everyone's there.
Everyone looking at you is probably looking at you to see if you're looking at them because they feel the same.
Probably.
Like, not all of them, but like a large percentage of people have that. Like, you know, I recognize it. You know, I'm really can see it. It's difficult, but like, if you were to put yourself in that environment and test yourself, like, you would have a huge breakthrough mentally, not just at the gym, but like when you're out and about. You know, that social anxiety in terms of, you know, that's one thing I hugely struggle with, is the social anxiety has been like, I'm a natural introvert at heart, like, so I'm very like quiet, like, you know, I'm like, with my job and with you guys, I'm very like, let's fucking go, like, but like when I'm out of that game face, I like to be just very quite reserved, and I'm like,
I know, I get that. That is me.
When you go to a wedding, you're like, I don't want to have to fucking tell 10 people around the table my name and what I do for, like, do you know what I mean? So I just, it becomes that, and I have to put myself in that position. We got a wedding in 2 weeks and I'm already like, oh, fucking hell. Like, you know.
Well, we have as well.
And it's just, where's your wedding?
Manchester.
Oh, okay. Imagine we went to the same one.
That would be interesting. I want to know how you know the bride and groom.
Yeah, it'd be good. Yeah, but how do you know? And it's just so, but when you get into it, you forget all of that build up. It's like, I don't know if you've ever done a race and you're building up to that race, or you used to play football or rugby and you used to have those butterflies and that build up towards that race and that anxiety. And then suddenly you do the thing. And as soon as you start doing it, it's gone.
Yeah.
You're fucking lost.
I do get that. But I mean, for me, anxiety is there from the moment I open my eyes in the morning.
Okay.
And it's there all day until I go to sleep.
Okay. And is that just a constant fear of the unknown?
It's just generalized anxiety.
Okay.
It's a diagnosed medical condition along with the depression.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm battling the anxiety, I'm battling the depression and the negative thoughts, and then trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle and look after the family and keep them on track. And
yeah. So do you find the planning helps?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It's like I said, that morning routine is brilliant because I get up, I get dressed, straight in the gym, I come home, let the dog out, make a cup of coffee and have an hour and a half to myself every morning.
Good for you. Good.
And even if I don't do anything, that sets me up then.
Good for you.
For that kind of gets me into that mindset of focusing for the day.
Yeah.
Might not necessarily last, but it's a starting point.
To start. And that's what we're talking about, right? That one, but this is only week one. This is only week one. So like in 2 weeks, you know, it will be great to see. Hopefully you'll stick with it and you'll get through it. And, you know, there will be hard times and stuff, but, you know, when we talk on that Thursday night, that will be great to kind of like, right, where are we at? Let's get ready to go. Let's do this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
100%. Good.
It's all good.
Good, man. Simon, thanks for coming on.
No problem.
It's probably tough coming on. So, but like, thank you.
No problem.
Good. Well done. Right, guys, listen, hope you have a great weekend. Thank you for being here. Thanks for sticking it out. If you need me, message me on the app. I'll be back in for Monday. We are, normally we do it 2 weeks today, but because I'm at a wedding, I'm not going to be able to do it there. So we're doing it on Thursday. Let me just confirm the date. So Thursday, the 26th. Okay, 26th. If you're unsure, it's in events. Okay, and the link's in events on the app as well. All right, guys. Make sure this goes up on a podcast next week, YouTube video, so you can watch it back at any point. All right, boys. Well done.
Thanks, James.
Well done, boys.